What's up everybody, David here, and today we're checking out the brand new Smash and Grab drum compressor from Get Good Drums. Smash and Grab is aiming to be an all-in-one compression tool for mixing drums. No matter what drum it is, that's snare, kick, toms, overheads, room, it can do it all. But I'm just going to go ahead and assume that if you guys are on this video, you probably know what Smash and Grab is. So let's get straight to the demo. We're going to jump into Studio One, we're going to test it out on a few sets of drums, and we're going to see how it works. So let's get started. Alright, so the track we're going to be looking at today is actually the same song that I used for the Modern and Massive Drum Library demo. So I think it's kind of fitting that we use Get Good Drums Modern and Massive for the new Get Good Drums compressor, and yeah, it all works out. So before we get into everything and how it sounds, I want to go over how to use this plugin and what it comes with and what it's capable of. So right off the bat, you're going to notice your standard input and output for the controls. It does have an auto gain feature. I don't really use this. I kind of like to dial in the output on my own. But next to that, you also have your threshold control, which is a standard threshold. This is how you decide where your compression is going to kick in. You have the smash and grab control, which changes the color of the compressor so you know easily which mode you are on. Smash is going to have a faster attack, giving your drums more length and more body, and grab is going to have a slower attack, giving your drums more transient and just more attack in the actual hit. Below that, you have beef and air, which are really cool. So beef is going to add a low end boost before the compression, and then air will add a high end boost after the compression. Not only can you add beef and air, you can also take it out as well, which is really cool. Next to that, we have saturation, which is going to apply saturation to your drums, and you have 3 different types of saturation to choose from. You have soft clipping, tape saturation, and hard clipping. Having the tape saturation is really cool here because a lot of the time what people will do with snares is they'll compress them and then the transient is a little too pokey and it's just kind of stabbing your ears every time it hits in the mix. So people will use tape saturation to kind of cut that transient and make it a little less in your face. Above that, you have the normal and extreme modes. So I actually don't really know what exactly this is doing. In Nolly's videos and his drum videos showing off Smash and Grab, he mentioned that it's just a harder compression, it's more aggressive. So if I had to guess, and from me using it, I would probably guess it's altering the ratio, so maybe a more extreme ratio when you go to extreme mode, go figure, but I don't know exactly what it is doing. Now real quick guys, I did get in contact with Matt Halpern and asked him what the normal / extreme switch did. And look, I don't want to say I was right, but I definitely wasn't wrong. It does in fact alter the ratio and switch back and forth between a soft and a hard knee. So I guess saying it just makes it more aggressive is a great way to describe it, but at least now we know exactly what it's doing. Back to the video. Next to that, you have the controls for which drum you are using. So each one of these drums has its own mode of compression. It has its own EQ set for the beef and the air controls. So for example, you're going to get a different beef and air frequency on the snare than you would on the kick. You're going to get a different type of compression on the snare than you would on the toms. So each one of these modes is tailored to that specific drum. So the way they explain it, you have 6 different modes and you have 2 different types of compression per mode. So technically you have 12 different types of compressions, or 12 compressors in one single plugin. And then below that you have the mix knob, which is a mix knob. There's really nothing too special there. So now that we know what everything does, what we're going to do now is I'm just going to start throwing these on different kit pieces. I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to show you what Smash and Grab is capable of. So we're going to start with the kick drum since it's already loaded up. We're going to change this to the kick drum, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, so now let's move on to the snare drums. Let's grab Smash and Grab. We're going to throw it on the snare top mic, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Alright, snare sounds pretty good, so let's move on to the toms. I'm going to throw this on one of the rack toms right here. It's just one hit, but it's fine. So we're going to loop this and see what we get out of the rack tom. Alright, so I'm going to copy that over to the other toms, and just because I don't want to go through each separate tom right now, so let's see how it sounds. Alright, toms are sounding pretty dope. I know I can go more in depth there, but I don't want to bore you by going through each tom on its own, so let's move on to the room actually. So let's take this loop off over here. Actually, we'll loop it from here to here. Sounds good. Alright, let's move on to the room track. So we're going to solo the room. Now as far as the room goes, I have both room tracks summed into one. It already sounds great out of the box. Alright, so we're going to throw on Smash and Grab onto the room bus, which is just both rooms into one. Let's solo the drums and see what kind of difference that room makes. Alright, that once again sounds awesome. So let's move on to the overheads now. So we're going to throw this on the overhead track. We will solo it and see what we get. So I think a lot of you are going to like the smash on the overhead channels because I see a lot of people wanting to take the snare out of the overhead tracks, and this is doing it no problem right here. So I think a lot of you are going to like that. Alright, cymbals are much more controlled now, and that's all of our kit pieces. Everything is sounding really good so far, at least I think so. So what we're going to do now is we're going to check out the parallel processing on Get Good Drum Smash and Grab. So I'm going to set up an effects track here in Studio One. We're going to name this, not slash, we're going to name this Drum Smash. It's almost there, kind of rhymes. So for this, I'm just going to send my overheads, my toms, my snare top, snare bottom, and the kick. I'm going to send all of that to the drum smash, and we're just going to dial in the levels real quick. Alright, so now we have our parallel track set up. We're going to throw smash and grab on this, and let's do some compression. Let's see what we get. So this is something I actually recently saw Nolly do, and it looked really interesting, is leaving the snare super loud in your parallel drum bus, just so that when you compress it, it just gets really splatty and it gets a ton of body, a ton of sustain, and then you mix that in with your regular drums. So that's what we're going to do next. I think this sounds pretty dope. Actually, let's see what it sounds like on grab. It sounds cool, but smash sounds way cooler on a parallel drum bus. So let's go ahead and blend this in with our actual drum signal. Alright, so of course smash and grab sounds awesome here, but I've never tried that trick where you make the snare super loud in your parallel bus, and that sounds really dope. It makes the snare really powerful, has a lot of body, has a lot of energy, and yeah, all the drums here I think sound really, really cool. Alright, so we're going to do a quick A and B, a quick comparison here. I shut off all the Get Good Drum smash and grab plugins. I'm going to play them once without them on, and then play them again with them on. Here we go. Alright, let's check it out one more time in the mix, even though the drums are a little bit loud, but whatever. Alright, I'm pretty stoked. I think that sounds awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and say that Smash and Grab has, I'm 99% sure that it has officially replaced all of my drum compressors. Smash and grab is super easy to use and is super quick to dial in a great drum tone. Now, one thing I really like is the beef and the air knobs actually. I think those work flawless, they are fantastic. And one really cool thing about them is not only can you add beef and air, you can also take it away. I don't know if you noticed, but not only was I adding it in that demo, but I also took it out in a few spots and it worked really, really well. It really helps shape the sound of that drum. So not only can I see myself using it as an additive EQ feature, but also as a subtractive one as well. Now, when mixing drums, I find that I really like a solid attack and transient in my signal. I just like really punchy, attacky drums that really just kind of kick you in the gut. I don't know why someone would be kicking you so high, but anyways, I actually found that I really liked the smash channel on the smash and grab. It's not typically what I go for normally, but it just sounds so good. It adds so much body and sustain to the signal, and I really, really liked it a lot. So I could see myself using that a lot more in the future, even though previously I wasn't a huge fan of that type of drum sound. There's a lot of experimentation that I have left to do with smash and grab. That was only scratching the surface, what we just watched now, and I'm really excited to dive even more into the plugin and see just all of the endless possibilities that it's capable of. Now, as far as things I didn't like about the plugin, I honestly can't think of anything. Like, it was actually really, really fantastic and it sounds awesome. But I think if there's one thing I think I would have liked to see is probably a channel dedicated to bus compression. Compressing all of the drums at once. That would have been really cool to see because they have channels for each separate kit piece, but nothing for drums as a whole. And I think with smash and grab aiming to be an all-encompassing solution for drum compression, I think that would have been really nice to see. Now, of course, that doesn't mean you can't use this plugin to compress your drum bus. Just because it doesn't say drum bus doesn't mean that you can't do it. So definitely try it, throw it on your drum bus, flip through the channels. Maybe the parallel channel would work well, or even the overhead channel. Just because it's not there doesn't mean you can't do it. Now, I think the plugin is on sale right now for 75 bucks. I'm not sure how long. Hold on, let me check. Give me a second. Working on it. Alright, according to their website, it is $75 right now. I don't know how long it's going to be $75, but after that it goes up to $99. So I'm gonna assume that you guys are past that discount limited time and it's now $100. Do I think it's worth it? Yes, I think it is totally worth $100. I'm telling you guys, that really just scratched the surface of what is possible with smash and grab. And maybe this is just me, but anything Nolly promotes, I already know is going to be great because that dude is an absolute wizard when it comes to audio and just mixing in general. But yes, I do think it is worth $100, and I'm just going to address this right now because I feel like I'm going to get this question in the comments possibly, and that is what I think, or how I think this compares to DrumForge Comp, to DF Comp. My answer to you is I don't know, because I don't have DF Comp, so I can't run that test. What I do notice is that DF Comp does not have a beef or air control like Smash and Grab does. So maybe Smash and Grab takes the cake in that sense, but I don't know. I can't definitively tell you whether it's better or not because I don't have both compressors. All I can tell you is that Smash and Grab is seriously good, and you should smash the buy button and grab it right now. Once again, it is available for $75 right now. It goes up to $100 soon-ish, but I will put the link down in the description below. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you have Smash and Grab? Are you gonna get it? Did you hate it? I hope not. I don't see why you would hate it because it's awesome. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments below. On that note, don't forget to like and subscribe. There are new videos every single week and you don't want to miss any content. Once again, make sure to hit the bell at the bottom of the video so you get notifications when I post videos. You can watch them and yeah, and like them and subscribe, but you'd already be subscribed at that point, so never mind. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name is David and I will see you guys next time.